Hi, Chuck Etheridge here with week 3 of English 3301, and I'm trying to, if you look down at the screen, pretend it's a beautiful, cool, crisp fall day and not still summer in South Texas. So I'm trying to get my autumnal mood on, give you some autumnal leaves to look at. And speaking of which, we're into week 3. We are, remember, continuing our long arc, which is the first 8 weeks of the semester, and that's when we produce the field guide for writing in our field. But this week, our specific topic is going to be visual rhetoric, communications, graphics, illustrations, what our textbook cunningly calls Chapter 5. Designing documents, document design as well. And we're going to pay attention to the way information looks on a page. Now, I know this may sound odd, but it's not enough to write well. I mean, we need to write well, we need to write clearly, we need to have good words, but the advent of the various media, not just television, but computers, smartphones, the social media, we really pay attention to the way words look and the way things look on a page. And our eyes just follow certain patterns. So I want us to look at a good design and a bad design just to get us some practice and looking at some of the ways that visual information communicates or doesn't communicate. So let's look at this first example of design. Now everything that I show you is a real design. So look at this. Where does your eye go on the page? Mine is drawn to that large, is it a lemon? Is it smiley face on the piano? Mainly because it's yellow, it's bright, and it's in the center. And I kind of look up and I see group lesson. And then where do your eyes go? Now, if you don't have an easy answer, it's because we don't know where to go. Do you go up to perfect note or down to important? Box, preschool children become August 8th, or over to fifth graders, or the dice, the refreshments, July 27th. Come show what you know. Visually, we have no idea what to do. There's no flow of information. And if we look at this, there's all kinds of conflicting information. What is it for? Is it for a group lesson, which is what the big writing said? It doesn't seem to be. It seems to be for come show what you know, some kind of, recital for students of the Perfect Note Piano Studio. But what day is it? We see it's July 27th here. But then it says preschool children will come August 8th. And then we have times. 5th, 6th, 7th graders, I presume on July 27th. And then we see dice, because of course you want to take your preschool children to throw dice or throw craps and drink whatever. Perhaps that's tea or coffee, I don't know. I'm sorry, I could go on, but this is too much on the page. We don't know what to do. The important information there is given, but it's conflicting both in terms of the way it's written and the way it's presented, and we really don't know what it's about. It's a mess. And it's one of those things, when we start revising, just as with Air Commander, we think, well, how could we cut out words or phrases, or how could we change the grammar or make those changes? And you really can't. You really need to fundamentally ask the basic questions. What is the main point? Who is my audience? What do I want the reader of this document to get out of this? And one of the things I would say is you need, first of all, 2 different documents. You need a document for the July 27th, I get school-age kids. You need another document for the preschool kids as well. So 2 separate documents. And a bunch of things. You don't use a bunch of different fonts because it looks messy and unprofessional. You don't use a mixture of graphics and photographs as well. And it's like somebody, hey, I just learned how to use Word Publisher or PowerPoint yesterday, and I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff in. So that's not a very effective design. Let's go to another design that I've got to blow up the screen just a little bit. Now we'll get this centered on the page as well. Where does your eye go? It goes to The Fly magazine. Okay, it's centered on a guitar. And no matter where your eye goes, if it goes up, down, sideways, left or right, The Fly magazine, we see, if we go down, it's 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. If we go left, there's a new issue party. Okay, so it's a new issue party at 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Well, if we look up, Friday the 24th of September, and we see free before 11 p.m., and there will be a cover after 11. Okay? Chapter Sweetheart, Thrush Metal Dud, which I presume are bands, DJ, Sunday Girl, Lisa Wright, The Two Collins. So, which fits with the whole music motif. And if you look at the top left up here, there's a fly because it's The Fly magazine. So, and notice it's well designed. It's all contained on the guitar. We know what the key information is. This is it's a launch party. We know when it is. We know where it is. We know the times. We know the date and times. We know a little bit about what the events are. And then we know that there is a cost after a certain time. And if it looks a little fuzzy, it's because I took a very small picture off the internet and blew it up. But it's a really good bit of design. It gives all of the information that we need in an easy to look at, easy to follow manner. So the way we use illustrations, the way we format text is very important. And you'll get this as you read the chapter, I know, but people don't like to read long chunks of text. If words are important, you need to bold them or highlight them or underline them as well. If you have to give a lot of information, sometimes bulleted lists are very effective. So it's not just enough to write well. We do need to write well, but we also need to organize information in a way that people can follow it. And that's why our main document for our reference guide is going to be like this. Now, it looks like there's not a lot of writing, and perhaps there's not a lot of writing in terms of the number of words on the page, but it's going to take you weeks to find out what you need to do to fill out this particular document. In this case, the student was a GIS major, was interested in being a professional surveyor. And he identified the 10 different kinds of writing that you do, and he put them into different categories of kinds of writing. And you need to do this. Follow these categories and have at least 10 different documents with different categories as well. These were proposals, internal documents, meaning within the organization or business, and external documents to the community. So we have, the government audience is the document. Is what kind of document is the audience, who's going to be reading it, the purpose, what purpose it is, the medium, could be paper, is it digital, is it book, what is it, what are the main features of the document, what are the ethical or unethical actions as well, and what parts of our textbook give us information about this as well. And so this is what you're going to be doing, but notice how visually this gives you a lot of information, and you can look at what you need at a particular time. You're not going to read this, over, all the way through, but I think it gives the information of a 10 or 12 page document in a very compact, very easy to look at way. And also note, you got proposals, internal documents and external documents. There's a little graphic to illustrate each as well. And notice the colors kind of keep information separate. Each separate sub-writing has a big block around it, and the little designs are there. The little lines separate the separate sections as well. And then he used a sort of a watermark on the back, just sort of without distracting, give this overall visual image of a surveyor at work. So lots of information is conveyed by the way it's designed, and things like this let us give lots of information very quickly, and so the person can look at the audience, or I'm sorry, look at the document and find out what they need. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit more. Actually, I'll just do this. I'm going to actually ask you to recreate this chart sort of on your own in Word, so you learn some specific tools about Word as well. And that might be a little bit hard for you to do it. There'll be a little bit of hit and miss as we do that, but I want you to learn some very practical, very specific skills, because we learn as we go. And anyway, so that's what I want to talk to you about. Main topic is continuing your work, finding out as much as you can about the kinds of writing that you would do in your field, and specifically looking at the way the visuals help you organize your information. The way words on the page and images on a page are all part of the writing that we do now. So thanks for your time. I look forward to seeing what you come up with.